Magic systems. They are everywhere. In books, in anime, in films, in every type of literature you can find. And I wanted to make one for myself. So after a few months of planning, thinking, and just procrastinating, I hereby present to you my very own magic system. If you like what I'm presenting, leave a comment to show your interest, because I may even start to develop this into a full-blown story with its own unique worlds. Spoiler. For the haters that say this isn't a game and my channel's about playing games, because my name is quite literally Tech Gaming, just consider it as like game theory or something. Also, it's my channel and my hobby of making videos, so you can shut your bitch ass up when I'm not even getting paid at all to do this. Knowledge is power. A quote from a bygone time that still stands even in the modern era. To bring change, you must first know how to do so, the steps and the consequences of your actions. This was the spark that had grown into the flame that is now my very own system. Magic, it's more power, and the crux of my magic system is gained through knowledge, where a person develops supernatural abilities through understanding or simply knowing facts. Well, everything revolves around a key natural law that Earth did not have: manifestation. When a person learns anything, their knowledge seeps into their surroundings and naturally affects the world around them. This occurs to anyone, even normal people who are not the power users in my world. For them, like the knowledge of how water turns to ice might slightly cool nearby objects, or the knowledge of how to cook your family's famous dish might make the smell linger around you. Small things, tiny things that are related to what you know will start to appear around you. As you learn and grow older and become more wise. However, these effects and the knowledge causing them are called knowledge, lowercase k, or minor knowledge. Well, with minor knowledge, there comes major knowledge, or knowledge with a capital K. These have much more severe effects on the world if fully understood, and are restricted from the general public to protect them. For example, knowledge about physics in our world is a type of major knowledge, as unseen forces might become visible, and it could easily overload a normal person's processing capabilities. Spoilers again. Those who learn life-saving medicine, like earth surgeons, may emit an aura of healing that can mend minor injuries or passively heal those around them. The main reason why knowledge about medicine is also restricted is that manifestation changes to the user's emotions and mental state. Hence, it easily backfires and could potentially give nearby people incurable diseases. Manifestation's intensity changes according to how well versed a person is in the knowledge, how much they know and fully understand about the topic. This is also why forbidden knowledge, a branch of major knowledge, exists. People who intentionally or unintentionally learn them will be physically, emotionally, and or spiritually corrupted and cause catastrophic events around them. Those who learn the forbidden are named the lost, because they have lost their humanity and stopped being humans the moment they understood the knowledge. However, the silver lining for both major and forbidden knowledge is that a certain level of expertise or understanding is required for the manifestation to trigger, and the intensity is usually low enough at the start for window to erase the understander's memories before something tragic occurs. So, That's the main natural law that allows my magic system to even exist in the first place. Now, let's get into the fun part. How do people use the quote-unquote magic? Firstly, people who know major knowledge and can consciously use it like traditional magic users in other systems are called the sages, the nomenclators, the scholars, and the scribes. Similar to RPG classes, a person can usually only go towards one type, and people with multiple types are classed either as idiots or geniuses, depending on how well they achieved. This is due to a side effect of just any major knowledge, and I guess forbidden knowledge. Any piece of major knowledge permanently uses a portion of a sage's mental capacity, and the effect will be different for every person. Maybe their memory becomes increasingly fuzzier the more major knowledge they know, or their reaction speed decreases. Although the effects are not usually significant enough to affect someone, if a sage's mental limit is reached or exceeded, they fall into a semi-permanent subconscious state and become a mindless natural disaster that manifests everything they know to their surroundings at just the highest intensity they can manage. These are called the mind lost. This is also why most sages have to be hyper-focused on one specific aspect of major knowledge, and people with multiple types usually don't survive long, unless they are a genius, of course. Well, I've talked a lot about the boring laws and lore about my system, so let's finally delve back into the fun part: how knowledge can be used. Nomenclators. These sages are nicknamed the Namers as they harness the power of names to directly affect the things, they have named. There are two types of names: normal and true names. Normal names are just normal names and are just minor knowledge. True names are where nomenclators become powerful. With the true name of fire, a nomenclator can create and manipulate flames to their whims. With the true name of space, they can twist and warp an area into an invisible labyrinth. With the true name of someone, they can enslave them and control them like mindless puppets. You get the point. True names of inanimate objects take up the least mental training, whilst those of living things are harder to find and harder to evoke without becoming mind lost. Ah, yes. Nomenclators don't just know true names of everything. They have to find their own interpretation of something's true name, and this is rarely the same to another nomenclator. It also allows them to name new things and give inventions true names, which could even imbue a soul in items if the nomenclator is powerful enough and the item is a vessel for one. Scholars. These sages are nicknamed the knowledge seekers, as they learn one or more major knowledge and harness their manifestations. Most scholars use sigils and runic language to modify, enhance, and edit the effects of their manifestations that can be drawn or imprinted into virtually, anything. Skin is usually the most popular because it's the hardest to get rid of if done properly and the most accessible spot to use the sigils. These are just the classic mages of other systems, as they can do whatever they desire in the field or fields of expertise. Sigils and runic language are the same even for scholars with drastically different major knowledges, because they act as auxiliary software rather than a requirement to manifest, and usually just tweaks like the shape and mental cost to use certain manifestations. This is similar to classes of magic, were yet to learn more complex chants for stronger magic, or in the scholar's case, more complex sigil designs to further decrease mental cost and more effective designs for their manifestations to complete their task. Scribes. These sages are nicknamed the writers, but most people revere them as gods. The rarest class of sages, scribes use their knowledge and imagination to create worlds and realms and manifest or project aspects of them into reality. They are considered gods due to the near infinite possibilities that they can do, and even reject natural laws or change fundamental rules in reality, like manifestation, with a convincing enough world or realm. They can also harness the powers of their creations, synchronizing with the experiences and memories to gain abnormal powers not associated with any major knowledge. Scribes are the strongest class, but also the rarest because most become mind lost before even finishing a world. An imaginary planet created by scribes that can either be similar or completely different from reality. Most abilities considered godly do require a realm though, an infinite plane of reality that long exceeds a world and do not require adherence to fundamental laws. Another reason they are minor gods is their ability in engravings, where scribes can permanently establish part of their world or realm onto others, including physical attributes, mental properties, and even fundamental laws in their worldview that might not be normal in reality. They are also the only people who can reverse corruption from forbidden knowledge. Well, only a select few live in reality and are usually just considered myths or legends. This is the trinity of my magic system: the nomenclators, the scholars, and the scribes. However, I've only mentioned how the world works. What about beliefs? Well, I haven't thought of any religions yet, but there is one core belief that just everyone believes in due to this truth: the creation myth. To keep this short and simple, because I've talked for way too long now. First, the original scribe created the world and everything within it, including life and humans. However, they are non-functional yet. Although there were a few individuals in humans, obviously, who perfected the world that the original scribe created. The first nomenclator named the earth, sky, and sea, creating nature and the natural cycle. The second nomenclator named all living beings, giving them consciousness. Oh, the first and second did all that subconsciously, by the way, but just before consciousness it was just invented by the second. The third nomenclator established the first words that became a language without affecting the surroundings. This is because evoked minor knowledge would have stronger effects, but the created language prevents unnecessary manifestation. The fourth nomenclator named the fundamental rules of reality, alongside the mystical arts like sigils and runic language used to harness the power of true names and knowledge, while later named like minor and major by modern civilizations. And finally, the fifth nomenclator named civilizations and the first artificial creations, leaving behind a fraction of his soul for future descendants to do so as well. God damn, we are finished now. I hope you have enjoyed my video, and remember, leave comments about what you think about it. To be honest, I would have used Minecraft to show everything that was in this PowerPoint, but my potato laptop was already in flames just to get this up, so if I get enough subscribers and comments, I might even make a part 2 and improve my uploading schedule. So, stay tuned. Peace out.